Welcome to Kathy's Vegan Kitchen. Today we're going to make a creamy sun-dried tomato gnocchi recipe in one pan, super quick, under 20 minutes. I found this new cool ingredient today at the store. It's a chickpea gnocchi. It says plant-based on it, 11 grams of protein, and it's vegan. It has no oil, but I've never seen a chickpea gnocchi version before, so we're going to give it a try. So first we're going to start by heating our pan to about medium high. And I have 2 cloves of garlic that I minced. I like using fresh garlic best because you get the best flavor if you can get it. Then I have 1 shallot that I minced. And 1 yellow onion, also diced up. And I'm going to saute these onions, shallot and garlic, until they start to smell really yummy. And the shallots and the onions begin to become translucent. So I hear that many of you want Paul to do a taste test. So we're going to have Paul do a taste test today and see what he thinks. Okay, so just a couple minutes. These onions are starting to sweat. Paul, can you come in here and look at these sweating onions and shallots? They smell really yummy. And now I'm going to add a ½ cup of sun-dried tomatoes. I buy the kind that are in the package, not the oil kind. They're just dried and in a package, not in a jar. And then what I did is I chopped them up. I used my little scissors that I have, my kitchen scissors, and I cut them up. And we're going to put a ½ cup in there. Move them around a little bit to get them to soften up a little bit. And then I'm going to add a ½ cup of dry white wine. Now, I buy these tiny little bottles of wine to cook with. I buy red ones and white ones. For those of you who don't like to use wine when you cook, you can use vegetable broth instead. But I like the wine. It cooks down, so it's not like you're drinking alcohol. So I'm going to put a ½ cup in here, and I'm going to stir it and let it reduce down to about 1/2. So you see how it's bubbling? And we're going to wait until it reduces by 1/2 before we add the mushrooms. Now if you look inside, you're going to see that sun-dried tomatoes have really started to soften up, and the liquid has reduced by about 1/2, just like I want. Now I'm going to add the mushrooms. And we're going to let those cook up. And while those are cooking, I'm going to get our roux together. Now typically a roux, which thickens sauces and things, is done in a pan with oil and butter and flour. My little trick is to take 1 cup of plant-based milk. This is unsweetened, unflavored milk, and I'm going to put it into the blender. You want to put your wet ingredients in the blender before your dry ingredients so it doesn't stick in the bottom. I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast and 2 tablespoons of flour. I used oat flour. You can use any kind of flour that you want. I'm going to put the top on. Let me see how these are doing. As you can see, I have no oil in my pan. Nothing is sticking. It's perfectly fine, and it's the mushrooms are cooking. So now we're going to blend this up. If I could find the start, that would be good. Okay, if you look at the mushrooms, they're browning nicely. Now what I'm going to do is add 2 cups of vegetable broth to my mushrooms. And excuse me, I'm starting with 2 cups, but I may need a little bit more. I have to see. I do. I need another cup, so we're going to do 3 cups, not 2. And I'm making this with you the first time, so you're seeing all my little tricks. All right, so we're going to bring this to a boil. Once it's boiling, I'm going to add this milk mixture, this plant milk, nutritional yeast, and flour mixture. And what it's going to do is it's going to thicken the sauce. Then we're going to add the gnocchi, which literally takes 3 minutes to cook. And then right at the end, we're going to add our baby spinach that's going to wilt. It's always a big joke. You know, you have like 10 pounds of spinach and you end up with just a little tiny bit of spinach. This is not a lot, but it's 6 ounces, and it'll be amazing how little we have left, but it's a perfect amount. Our mushrooms are starting to boil, so I'm going to slowly add in and stir the milk mixture. And I'm going to, again, it's got to be a roaring bubble before I can put this gnocchi in. Now, gnocchi, no matter if you boil it in just water or you boil it in a sauce, it only takes 3 minutes to cook, which is a beautiful thing. So we're waiting again for the pot to boil. You know how that goes. Watch, pot never boils. Okay, you want to be careful when you add the gnocchi so it doesn't splash on you. Okay, we're going to add all the gnocchi in. And you're going to stir it in there. And you want to stir it every couple of minutes, not too much, but you want to keep it boiling because it has to cook all the way through. And we're going to cook this for 3 minutes. Okay, the 3 minutes is up. And as you can see, the sauce has thickened. We're going to add in the spinach. And as you know, it'll just wilt in like 2 minutes, a minute maybe. And then I'll show you how we're going to serve it up. The gravy is super salty. You're going to notice I didn't add any seasoning at all other than nutritional yeast, if you want to call it that, a seasoning. The sun-dried tomatoes are naturally salty. It doesn't need any seasoning. And the wine gives it a flavor as well. You can always add any seasonings that you'd like. Okay, so as you can see, the spinach is wilted. We're going to spoon some of this deliciousness up into a bowl. Make sure you get some of that yummy spinach in there. And then I'm going to sprinkle with vegan Parmesan cheese. I make my own. And then I'm going to put some fresh thyme on there. And we're going to let Paul taste and see what he thinks. All right, it's time for the taste test. Here he is. He's got his bowl and his spoon. Go in deep.
Going in.
Going in.
Stir it around a little. Ooh, thick and gravy-like.
Thick and gravy-like. That's a good thing, right? Is it hot?
Oh, it's real hot. Mmm. Savory. Mmm. I think we're going to need a bigger bowl.
So it's good. It's a keeper?
It's a keeper. Yeah.
Okay. Again, man approved.
Cheers.
We'll see you next time. If you like this channel, please subscribe. Bye.